Yao Ming is the biggest name in basketball in China. Standing at 7 feet 6 inches, he's an NBA Hall of Famer and an 8-time All-Star. But for the Chinese Communist Party, his success was more about its political accomplishments than his personal talent. Yao is now the head of China's Basketball Association and a government official. In April 2024, news broke that Yao Ming had been taken away by the authorities due to sensitive issues. His rise and possible downfall mirror the same trajectory as China's rise to dominance during economic reforms and its impending fall. Hello, welcome to Lei's Real Talk. I'm Lei. From the very beginning, Yao Ming's life has been controlled by the Chinese regime. Even before he was born, Yao was destined to be a product of China's state-controlled sports system. According to the book Operation Yao Ming, his birth was anticipated for decades by CCP officials. Yao's father, Yao Zhiyuan, at 208 centimeters or 6'10", was a center for the Shanghai basketball team. His mother, Fang Fengdi, at 5'12", was a center for the Shanghai women's basketball team. She also played on the national women's basketball team. Yao's parents were encouraged by China's sports officials to get together and marry, with the hope that a future sports prodigy will be born. Yao Ming was born in 1980 in Shanghai. He was double the size of an average Chinese newborn, measuring an astounding 23 inches and weighing 11.2 pounds. Brooke Lammer, who wrote Operation Yao Ming, said, "But when Yao Ming was born, everybody in the sports community in Shanghai and nationally knew he was something special." At 8, Yao began training at a sports school in Shanghai, where his days were consumed by eating, sleeping, and 6 hours of intense training.
I have a very minimal education time, but a maximum practice time, almost, I would say somewhere around, my first 6 months was really, really hard. 10 hours a day for 6 days a week.
10 hours a day, 6 days a week,
yeah,
at 14 years old.
14, actually 13 and a half.
The training environment was highly controlled, with rules that prohibited dating and dictated that men couldn't marry until they were 30 and women until they were 28, ensuring complete focus on sports. By 18, Yao stood 226 centimeters or 7'5" tall and joined the Shanghai Sharks and the Chinese national team. His talent quickly drew attention. Yao was pressured to enter the NBA draft in 1999 by the deputy general manager of the Shanghai Sharks, Yao Ming. As American attention on Yao grew, Chinese authorities also took interest. Yao Ming's path to the NBA was tightly controlled by the Shanghai Sharks and the Chinese government. To maximize the gain for releasing Yao, the Sharks insisted that he would go only at the appropriate time with the appropriate team and under the appropriate conditions. In addition to $1 million from the NBA, they demanded TV rights, NBA clinics, and help in building a new stadium. Yao Ming is China's Michael Jordan. We cultivated him from childhood, made him what he is today. If we're being asked to give him up, don't you think we should get a high price? In May 2001, the Sharks announced that Yao would not enter the NBA draft. Yao recalled his emotions at that time. Once your heart is broken, once you feel like your dream has passed you by, you will grow up. After Yao helped the Shanghai Sharks win the CBA title in 2002, and his mother threatened that her son might quit basketball altogether, the Sharks finally agreed to release him in 2002. But his handlers demanded that the Houston Rockets had to select him with first pick overall, or they wouldn't let him go. It was a few months after China joined the WTO, and the world was eager to work with the Chinese. In the end, Yao Ming was the #1 pick in the 2002 NBA draft by the Houston Rockets.
With the first pick in the 2002 NBA draft, the Houston Rockets select Yao Ming from Shanghai, China, and the Shanghai Sharks.
Yao's NBA career made him a global icon, representing not only his own talent but also China's growing influence in the world. His unique position as a bridge between China and the NBA made him a marketing powerhouse. Yao signed lucrative endorsement deals with companies like Nike, McDonald's, and Apple. Brooke Lammer called him a commercial icon bridging East and West, yet still a product of China's socialist system. During NBA's off-seasons, Yao was not able to take a break from basketball and relax like other players do. He was frequently asked to return home to play with China's national team. This took a toll on his heavy body and limited his ability to condition his body and improve skills in the off-seasons. "I just want to relax. I don't want to do anything," Yao once said. In 2007, he was criticized by China's Sports Association for showing up late to national team training. The authorities weren't happy about how much time he took off after the NBA season. No matter how important those things are, playing for the country should always come first, the China Sports Daily said. Yao suffered repeated injuries that hampered his career in the NBA. Injuries limited his time on the court and eventually led to his early retirement in 2011, after just 9 seasons. After retiring from the NBA, Yao returned to China and took ownership of the Shanghai Sharks. In 2013, he joined the Chinese People's Political Consultative Conference, a move designed by the regime to use his international fame to promote the CCP. In 2017, he became the president of the Chinese Basketball Association, or CBA, transitioning into a government official. In Chinese sports, there are 2 well-known phrases used to distinguish between types of sports: the 3 big balls, soccer, basketball, and volleyball, and the 3 small balls, tennis, ping pong, and badminton. Xi Jinping has always had a deep personal interest in the 3 big balls, particularly soccer. He views sports as a symbol of China's growing influence on the global stage. Yao Ming was tasked to improve the performance of China's national basketball teams. His reforms were bold, but stirred up a lot of controversies. His efforts threatened the livelihood of people who had a lot to gain from maintaining the status quo. For example, during the pandemic, while China enforced strict zero-COVID policies and shut down all events, Yao introduced a salary cap to prevent basketball clubs from going bankrupt. He limited players' annual salaries to a maximum of 6 million yuan. This angered many Chinese players. Yao also pushed the Basketball in Schools program, aimed at developing young talent. However, this initiative threatened the influence and resources of the CBA department that traditionally manages youth basketball.
Owners will pay the wages for the players and coaches, but basically it's CBA, Chinese Basketball Association, run the league and tell what to do. And now that the owners feel that we have so much pressure on the cost today, and because we don't have the kind of salary cap control, and
you guys are the ones spending all the money, but don't get to make the decisions. Essentially,
I think that's a part of a reason. I think that's a big part of a reason too.
Unlike the NBA, which is a private organization, the CBA is state-controlled and operates under the direct control of CCP's General Administration of Sports. Yao's reforms clashed with the national agenda. For instance, he pushed to send top teams and players abroad to develop their skills, which didn't sit well with the government. The state wanted to focus on winning international competitions. and Yao's approach interfered with that priority. Yao also upset veteran Chinese coaches who weren't pleased with his introduction of foreign coaches and implementing systemic changes. Yao's new ideas put their authority and traditional ways of doing things at risk. So, Yao wasn't just upsetting people in basketball. His reforms challenged the interests of powerful figures in China's government-controlled sports system. With each reform agenda, Yao alienated a group.
How challenging have you found it to make the government less involved in the league?
Well, I think it is not about independence or not from the government, but have the best people to do their best, do their familiar area. If we admit that basketball league is a business, of course, it's a sports too. And we should have sports people, basketball person, and business people in the chair to manage it daily.
To make matters worse, China's men's basketball team started underperforming in international games. At the 2022 FIBA Asia Cup, China reached the top 8, a far cry from their previous performances, where they'd often compete for the championship. In the 2019 and 2023 FIBA World Cups, China didn't even make it past the group stage, finishing near the bottom. By 2024, the team failed to qualify for the Paris Olympics. Earlier this year, in an April interview with China Central TV, Yao Ming said, "Are we going to keep things the old way and stay in our comfort zone, or will we dare to take off a layer of our skin and renew the whole system from the inside out?" Yao saw these losses as part of the process of rebuilding, but for the sports officials, short-term results are a must. In April of 2024, news broke that Yao Ming had been taken away by the authorities. The details of the explosive news were shockingly specific and detailed. Yao Ming was reportedly taken away on April 1st at precisely 3:45 p.m. His sudden absence from the public eye sparked further rumors. A few days after he disappeared, Chinese news site Sohu published an article titled "Government to Clean Up the Basketball Association, Countdown to Yao Ming's Dismissal." His absence at a CBA semi-final game between Liaoning and Guangdong on May 13th, an event that he had never missed, only fueled more suspicion. On February 23, 2024, former Chinese national soccer team coach was taken into custody on multiple bribery charges, amounting to nearly 120 million yuan or $17 million. After a 12-hour trial on March 28th, Li pleaded guilty and was sentenced to life in prison. His case followed the imprisonment of 4 other former Chinese Football Association officials. In light of these actions, it's no surprise that Yao Ming, as head of the Chinese Basketball Association, found himself amid a similar anti-corruption wave. Rumors had circulated that he was reported for accepting a bribe of 500,000 yuan. His recent role as part of the Chinese women's basketball coaching staff at the Paris Olympics shows that he is safe for now. Yao Ming's struggles reflect the Chinese regime's deep-seated conflict of desiring success and resisting Western concepts. Yao's story isn't just about talent and hard work. It's also about trying to navigate a system where politics often outweighs merit, under a regime where control and favoritism often get in the way of progress. His journey highlights more than just personal ambition and national pride. It exposes the deep-rooted corruption and political entanglements of sports under a communist regime. Yao's career across both sides of the Pacific has also corresponded to China's economic growth since joining the WTO. Without being granted the most favored nation status and joining the WTO, China wouldn't have risen to dominance. Similarly, without his MBA career, Yao Ming wouldn't be who he is today. CCP's authoritarian control has now killed the country's economic prospect. By the same token, CCP's control on Yao Ming has limited his potential and possibly has killed his career forever. That's all for today. If you like my program, please subscribe and share. Thank you, and I'll see you next time.